What is up, everybody? Welcome in to the Grant Delpit episode 22. That's right, after the rookie's amazing debut, episode 22 of the Barking Brown Show. I am your host, Jacob, over at Roachism13 on Twitter. Joined, as always, by my wonderful co-host, Nick Carnes at Carnesies817 on Twitter. Nick, how are we tonight?
What a timing that is with the Grant Delpit episode.
It just worked out beautifully, my friend.
It just, sometimes it's just fun that way.
Straight off the get, I'm wearing an awesome shirt from our good friends. As you can see here, my orange, for those that can't see, I apologize. My orange browns with the crossbones and everything from the wonderful people over at Zabo Apparel. I wanted to talk to you guys about Zabo Apparel real quick. They're a veteran-owned business that's active in the community and supports various fundraisers in the community. They're specialized in gear for diehard fans by diehard fans. That is directly from him. He said, for diehard friends, by diehard friends. And if you look at the shirt I'm wearing right now, you can absolutely 100% see that. The people at Zabo are great, very responsive on Twitter. If you talk to them, ask them about some of their gear and stuff. They have amazing shirts on top of this one. Veteran-owned. Former Marine veteran over there. You can find them at Zabo Apparel, SZABOAPPAREL on Twitter. Also search for their website and check them out in their stores. They're great people, great shirts.
As a connoisseur of orange myself, I will say that shirt is something that I want to own because, we always have orange on tap. Over here.
I said, Nick, which Zabo Apparel shirt should I rock tonight, and why are you picking the orange one? And that's immediately where we went. Immediately with that, just absolutely love it.
It's really awesome of them to take the time to send some of that stuff our way. And you know what? They have great stuff, and we have a plethora of amazing clothing companies with Cleveland. Zabo is one of the best. And I cannot wait to have some of their stuff myself.
Yeah, I've got Nick's shirts as well. Anyway, so yeah, guys, absolutely give Zabo a look. Straight off the rip, guys. I have to pay a debt.
Ooh, and we even have a Steelers fan in here. So how perfect is that?
Yeah, that's hey man, appreciate you jumping over here and bumping up our ratings. So thank you. What's up? Our good friend Andrew weighing in. What's going on, buddy? I'm glad you were here with us. I lost a bet. We did a 53-man roster bet. I already lost one bet. I had to say nice things about the Steelers because of that. And here we are. I have to read quotes from our group chat live. I've never seen these things before. And the first one is in my inbox. So we're just going to knock it out. We're going to knock this out. We're going to get this bullshit over with. And we're going to talk about the Browns, who won. You wouldn't know it on Twitter if you check half of Brown's Twitter, but they fucking won this week. Yeah, okay. So Nick, I love doing this Brown show with you, but in my heart, I bleed black and gold. Whoever the fuck sent that, get bent. Get bent. So the bet was how many we made our 53-man rosters, however got the most right. There was a point system. Our good friend Andy Manchin set that up. And now I lost, and here we are. I think Ed did that. It was probably Ed. So
you think it was Ed?
I think it was Ed.
Oh.
So Ed's sliding in here. He's going to pretend like it wasn't.
No, Ed, it's a Cavs shirt. It's Cavs. There's no Steelers gear here, Fred.
Yeah, it did. It looked like Nick was wearing a Steelers shirt, so it was awfully inconvenient for it. So, guys, hey, so it was a fun week, man. Browns football's back. We were back in Cleveland. We had people tailgating 2.5 miles from the Muni lot, nearly 24 hours before kickoff. 24 hours, nearly. I think it was like 22. I think they started showing up at like 3 o'clock or something on a Saturday afternoon. Nearly 24 hours before kickoff. It was phenomenal. You guys are absolute madmen. Me and Nick will be tailgating, and we will be present for the Bears game. So if any of you guys are out there, come say hello, man. Let's hang out. Let's take some pictures. Let's do some high fives. Let's do some hugs, man. We're back in person. Man.
I had the pleasure of being in the Muni lot for week 1. And I mean, God, you know what? I honestly, it's been a long time. So the last time I was in the Muni lot was in the Freddie Kitchens era for the Seattle game. So
Yeah.
it's been a hot minute. And you know what? I lost an appreciation for just how many people are there, because so I saw after how many people I knew that were in the Muni lot that I did not, and I traversed this thing because Andy, I got to see Andy and join his little jamboree there for a little while. Shout out to him and his 646 beer chugging, which
phenomenal.
A friend of mine, AJ, actually, you know AJ, we've known AJ, friend of the show.
AJ was on the show 2 weeks ago.
Was handicapping the over-under on how long it would take Andy to chug those 6 beers, and we were betting on it. So it was a hoot.
Did you win?
No. No, I did not. No. But Andy gave it a valiant effort, though. I mean, the guy's a madman. And you know, there's some people that say that Andy chugs apple juice. I can confirm that it is not apple juice.
I can confirm. I watched him chug it at a bar after Brown's training camp. So
also
I can
true.
confirm, that we were there. Colin, we're not going to talk about haters and trolls on the internet.
Nah, it's not worth it.
That's not what this show's about. We're here to have fun, talk Browns. Billy weighs in. Watching those tailgating videos makes me want to move to Cleveland. Me too. I'm only 4 hours away, and I would love to be up there. Our good friend John weighing in. What's going on, buddy? Out there, good to see you.
Hi. It goes on forever, man. Because Andy's like way at the back of the Muni lot, right? So and a friend of ours' tailgate was way at the front of it. So I had the pleasure of walking from the beginning to the end, and from the end all the way back to the beginning. And dude, it is like a journey of AJ, I'm not even sure if I don't think I won that bet, but thank you for tuning in, friend. I'm not positive.
I'm trying to get my thing to load. It's not loading properly. So guys, we are going to start with the evaluation. We're actually going to end this show with some fan questions. I opened it up on Twitter.
Oh, we might have lost Jacob. Or at least, yeah, it kind of looks like we lost Jacob. So I guess I'm going to continue going. Ooh, but Colin, you're asking how the atmosphere was? Colin, you've never been in the meeting. Okay, so for those who don't know, Colin, another friend of the show, lives in Pittsburgh. And it's only 2 hours away. Oh, hi, you're back.
I don't know. My computer literally decided it was just going to go ahead and disconnect from the Wi-Fi.
Okay. Colin says he's never been in the Muni lot. And he lives 2 hours away from Cleveland. Colin lives less far than you do from Cleveland, Jacob, and he's never been in the Muni lot.
That's crazy, man.
I'm upset, frankly.
Am I froze? Are we good?
No, you're here.
Okay.
You're here. Look at you go.
You're froze. I don't know. This is stupid.
Oh, really?
It's fine. We can deal with it. So anyway, we were going to start off the top. We've got some listener questions from Twitter, because I know that a lot of people that listen or watch this show do so after the live version. And it kind of defeated the purpose of this being such an interactive show, because we weren't interacting with everybody. I mean, straight up, we just weren't. And so now we have several questions that will be at the end of the show. We will address the questions that I got on Twitter.
You know what, Jacob? The one thing that kind of went under the rug is that we did our first Patreon shirt giveaway. We did.
Our good friend Jess won a shirt from our friends at Zabo Apparel.
From our friends at Zabo Apparel.
That's right.
Beautiful thing. So for those who don't know, we currently have seven Patreons, and so every month we're going to do a shirt giveaway. And so your odds are particularly good if you are one of those 7. So anyone who wants that, and all kinds of Jacob writes articles, I do facts and stats, and we do all kinds of stuff. But just, a little bit of the thing we do, I definitely think that is worth your time, and you'll see lots more Sabo shirts that you can be winning moving forward here.
Yeah, the great people over there at Zabo. So, okay, AJ says who froze the Houston Texans. That's correct. That
Yes.
is correct. And then Ryan says, how loud was it? Nick, how loud was it in the Muni lot?
Oh, it was. You know what? The next day I woke up, so I didn't go to the game. But the next day I woke up and my voice was just rough because you're just yelling to be heard. It's
Just to talk, yeah.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy, and I think a lot too. There were a lot of people that I saw that flew in from all around forever, and I think it's just a culmination of the fact that the Browns are finally good, and that none of us got to be really a part of them being good last year. So it's like people are like doubling down and saying, "Well, yeah. I didn't spend any money traveling or doing anything last year, so let's go all out and let's go, from wherever to Cleveland."
Hey man, I mean, if you save up that money and you're ready to go, it's it's great. Nick, I'm going to try something real quick. You're frozen my screen. I'm going to see if I can fix that real quick, guys. Okay. So just bear with us just 1 second. Try this. Boom. How about that? We fixed her. He's moving. The only reason I do that is because I think that I need to see your reactions to certain things and stuff like that. I think just the way things go. So guys, we're going to start, I think, on the defensive side because it's getting all the attention. I want to go ahead and go from the top with PFF grades. So I want to break this down with the PFF, and then we're going to kind of give our takes. I'll do the PFF grades through down through the defense, then let Nick kind of weigh in, and then I'll tell you I've rewatched the game twice, and I'll kind of weigh in. We'll talk about that. Everybody keep the comments and the questions coming up, and we will catch up to them as we get done with these numbers. So we're going to start off the top with the defense. Your number one ranked on PFF was Malcolm Smith. He finished with a 78.7. So defense wasn't phenomenal. I don't think it was nearly as bad as some people want to make it out to be. They let up 21 points. I get it. Maybe that's not the team you let up 21 points to, but at the same time, they dropped 34 the week before. So, I mean, they're not super flashy, but they were a bunch of veteran dudes that have been around that are trying to fight for their NFL life. Of course. Dan, you only missed one. I've only had to say one so far. Malcolm Smith, 78.7. The thing that excites me about Malcolm Smith, a 91.3 coverage grade. 91.3.
That is very good.
That was on 58 total snaps, 30. So he had 31 coverage snaps and finished with a 91.3. Not great in the run defense. We don't have to. Your number two, I'll give you some credit where credit is due. Playing 25 total snaps was Mack Wilson, 77.8. I said it on Twitter today. Good for Mack Wilson. Not a ton of snaps, but if you can play at that level at 25 snaps as a role player, that's a really good number, I think, for a guy like that. Now, it's great for Mack Wilson. He's drastically improved. Great. Good for Mack Wilson, 77.8. Number three was Sione Takitaki with a 77. My guy Elijah Lee played 11 snaps at a 73.4. Myles Garrett with a 73. Our very large guy Malik McDowell, 71.8, keeps him in the mid 70s in his first two NFL snaps. First two NFL games, pretty great.
Yeah.
Numbers there. Malik Jackson, a 70.3. Grant Delpit, a 64, although he had a 93.7 pass rush when he tried to commit murder on the field.
Yeah.
Ronnie Harrison finishes with a 63. Greg Newsome, a 62, but 63 in coverage. Andrew Billings only had 6 snaps, a 59. JOK with a 58. Joe Jackson's a 58. Tack McKinley, a 57. Jadeveon Clowney, a 55. Jordan Elliott, a 53. And then the three guys that were the lowest, Troy Hill with a 48, Denzel with a 45, and John Johnson with a 42. I'm not sure what's going on with some of these coverage guys that Troy Hill, Denzel, and John Johnson, we know who they are. And right now, they're not who they are. I think a lot can be said about soft coverage and vanilla schemes. But hearing all of that, Nick, where do you stand on the defensive performance? Are you panicking? Are you not? And where do you think you go from here?
I think that the weirdest thing to me of all of it is that in our preview episode, we talked about how the Browns got a great deal of pressure on the Chiefs. They pressured Patrick Mahomes at a great rate. even though they didn't get home for sacks, they were still up in his face and getting to him. And for whatever reason, they face an inferior offensive line and an inferior quarterback, and they cannot even breathe on Tyrod Taylor and Davis Mills for the most part.
And I don't mean to cut you off, but on what you said, I wrote this note down on the rewatch, and I just put, there were pressures. There were 12 total pressures. They're not getting home. And it's the same thing I said last week. They just flat out are not – they have no discipline in the rush lane. They get far too far upfield, and these mobile quarterbacks just step up and slide out of the pocket, and they take off.
I'm definitely – you know what? I'm happy they won, but I was talking to a friend about this today. If you look down the pike, all of a sudden you're going to start playing a lot of quarterbacks who are very good at, like Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson twice.
Joe Burrow is in there.
Yeah, Burrow. I was going to say, Burrow's another good one.
You've got Herbert coming up.
Herbert's another fleet of foot. There's a lot of guys that are. I don't know why my brain's not working as the rushing quarterback. Even Justin Fields this week.
Fields this weekend.
And that's the other one that I was forgetting. So you've got a lot of quarterbacks that are mobile, and the Browns are just not doing well against them. And I'm not sure how you fix that. I'm not sure what the solution is, but you got to fix it in a hurry, because this is not. It's going to start getting hard quick. Yeah. And speaking of the defense, I've got.
Yeah, I get it. I see it. I see the comment in my DM. I see it. And I think this is unfair because I already just gave this guy props. But
it felt like good timing.
What?
It felt like good timing.
Okay. Apparently, I am to tell you guys that Mac Wilson is the most talented defensive player on this roster.
There it is.
I'm not allowed to comment afterwards. If you are listening to the podcast version of this, I rolled my eyes so freaking hard. I'm surprised they didn't get stuck like that.
So if you
good for Mac this week. Good for Mac.
Good for him. I you know what though? I think so. If you move aside the pass rush for just a second, the other thing that is readily apparent to me is that the Browns have lost both their starting linebackers. We're at week 2, and the Browns have lost both their starting linebackers, because that's obviously that's readily apparent to me with the way that they were running the ball. And the final thing that I know we're kind of glossing over a lot of it, and I'm sure we'll dive deeper into it. But man, you mentioned the bottom of the PFF grades. I don't know what's going on with the coverage. Brandon Cooks is cooking you. I mean, that's gross. No disrespect to Brandon Cooks.
There was a situation there where Denzel gets beat for a 32-yard gain. A lot of it was yak. He let up 5 catches on 6 targets. Yeah. You could clearly see that he was supposed to have help over the top, maybe from John Johnson, and it just flat out wasn't there. And that can be chalked up to scheme and time playing together. These dudes, neither one of them really. John Johnson might have played a little bit against Atlanta, but I know Denzel didn't. So they've not really played together at all. Yeah. And Denzel not at all in the preseason, was very cautious with the soft tissue injuries. But I don't know. We'll dive a little bit deeper in that. Let's catch up to a couple of things. AJ jumping in here off topic, but I need Nick to talk about the fantasy football implications of Monday Night Football last night.
I got Aaron Jones, and it was painful.
What did he drop, 40-something yesterday? And he just you up?
It was just enough. It was AJ's brother Brian, and he won by 3. And they immediately took Aaron Jones out after that. And just because so that's my big league, right? And I've been in that league for forever. And it's you know what? It's not even it's just about I've been facing the same damn people for forever, and I need to win. And I was gonna be 2-0. Life was gonna be grand, and then stupid Brian and stupid Aaron Jones. And I love Aaron Jones. I love him.
I do too, yeah. Shout
out to Mike McCarthy for burying him for years, and now finally he gets to shine with LaFleur. But so I don't want to linger on that too much. Pain. That's
what he feels. Ed wants to know, was the soft coverage due to the Browns believing the Texans were going to run more? We're going to get into this. I'll go ahead and get into it a little bit by some of these things of these notes that I took. And Jake Burns talked about this today on Twitter. It was either today or yesterday. This defense was vanilla. This was probably the most bland, boring scheme on both sides of the ball. This most bland, boring scheme that I've ever seen out of a Browns defense. They were playing 10 yards off coverage, soft coverage against a team that loves to dink and dunk. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. I'm not sure. It felt like, Jake Burns said this, it felt like they almost thought that they could be very vanilla, very basic, show up and win. And you know what? They did. You can say whatever you want about the game plan. You can say whatever you want about Joe Woods, whatever you want about the defense. I think asking to fire a coach who has 8 new starters and lost a starter from week 1 to week 2, firing a coach 2 games into the season is just absolute insanity, if you ask me. But you can say what you want, but you're going to win a lot of games with this offense if you can hold the other team to 21 points. A lot. You're going to win a lot of games if you can find a way to do that.
I'd like to weigh in on that. So last year, the offense started out very, very conservative, very rough, very,
not very complex, very vanilla.
There was a lot of doubt there, especially about Baker. And then you got to see the growth from week 1 to week 8 to then the final, the playoffs and all of it. And so I think last year to me was a lesson that these Browns are different from all the old Browns and the fact that they can actually improve and grow over a year. So maybe in the past I would be like, fire Joe Woods, get him out of here. The defense is terrible. We're never going to win anything with the defense. But last year showed me how much a team can grow in a year, and specifically the Browns. And so I'm inclined to give him and the defense more faith, because we know as individuals there are a lot of talented players in this unit. So it stands the reason that given time that they can be far better than they showed on Sunday, because obviously that is not the performance that you need. But I think given time, they can definitely – I know we're talking a little doom and gloom because obviously it is concerning, but I think the Browns gave you enough reason to have faith in them and their ability to improve over time that it's not time to panic yet.
Well, and I'll say this too about that I put out a tweet that said a win is a win regardless of how you get it. I in no way meant you couldn't criticize them for some of the poor play, because the week before I told you just because they lost doesn't mean good things don't happen. I need to keep the same energy, and I am.
Yeah.
Because you can good can come from a loss and bad can come from a win. Absolutely, 100%. I'm in no way saying that is not the case, because it absolutely is the case. But I think you can see that if you go watch what Joe Woods ran in Denver, it's not what he ran this week. It's not. He's not a crazy blitzer anyway. I know people are going crazy that he's not blitzing, but it's never been really his style. But he loves complex schemes and he loves to change and rotate coverages. He's just playing soft cover 2 and cover 3 right now. That's just all he's doing. So it's just not what he normally does.
You know what? There was an interesting comment that I had missed initially, and I was listening to 92.3 today, and they played it, and it was Myles Garrett talking about what they thought the Texans were going to do when they came out, and basically he said that their game plan was that they thought Houston was going to run the ball a lot more, and that they came out passing instead, and it was a little weird to hear that from him, because he kind of seemed like annoyed
that they figured him out and countered it.
Yeah, they were kind of wondering that the hosts were kind of wondering if Myles was maybe dissatisfied with the game plan, or if, I don't know. I'm not trying to say that he is, but I think it's worth wondering. Myles certainly didn't seem happy, and rightfully so. Who's going to be happy after that defensive performance? Probably no one on the defense, and they shouldn't be. But I do think it's interesting to wonder what the players are thinking compared to what the scheme is that they're running. And, given especially what you said, Jacob, that they're not running the defensive scheme that Woods ran previously.
And we're not seeing what he talked about all offseason. He finally had his safeties today or Sunday.
Yeah.
Finally. One game he has had the personnel, even though he lost his linebacker and Anthony Walker, that is the quarterback of his defense. And we're not talking enough about that. And you can say what you want about Walker, but he's the dude that puts people in the places they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
I don't think he's ever going to be a Pro Bowl linebacker, but I think he's a Pro Bowl leader. And you don't, and when you lose that on the field, you can't sit here and scream at me about the culture changer in Jarvis Landry and how important he's been to that locker room on and off the field, and then ignore what Anthony Walker has done in the same respect. You can't have it like that. You need it, just like some people said, hey, you need to keep the same energy as you did last week. Well, you need to keep the same consistency as well. And like I said, you can absolutely – their third down defense is probably the worst third down defense I've ever seen. I mean, if it's not 3rd and 70, I'm not sure they're going to get a stop. I mean, and I know that's being a little bit crazy, but like here we are. I wanted to start off with the defense because that's was as negative as we're going to go is against the defense. We're going to go to the offense. We're going to talk about next week. We're going to talk about all this stuff. We're going to have fun.
Yeah.
I saw you were typing as though you were trying to send me another thing. It never.
I have it queued up.
You did not hit enter.
No.
Okay.
I just want to.
Go ahead.
Just one last thing. I know the defense is struggling. We know Myles Garrett can play better. We know Denzel Ward can play better. We know Ronnie Harrison is a good safety. We know for damn sure John Johnson is, right? We know we definitely like the promise we saw from McDowell, and we know Malik Jackson is a veteran that has proven himself in the league. And I certainly think Jadeveon Clowney and even Tack McKinley, to whatever extent, can be better. So I think we have proof that a lot of these guys can be better than they are showing currently. And so I think that gives me pause with pushing the panic button.
We've also seen them, most of these guys flash. And a lot of these guys aren't rookies. So you can point to past experience to say, yeah, this is who Denzel Ward is. Mm-hmm. Look, last week he was better against a better opponent last week.
That's the thing that blows my mind. They were better.
It felt almost like they game planned to not show anything. And you can say what you want. I know Andrew commented if Tyrod Taylor stays in that game, I don't know if it works. Well, then maybe you ramp it up. Maybe the offense ramps it up. They didn't take a lot of shot plays after Baker's injury. But in the end, it doesn't ifs and buts. They
won the game.
What is it? If it's ifs and buts were candy and nuts, I don't know, something like that. I don't know. Let's see here. Ed says we always wanted the Browns to be like Ohio State, but now we don't, especially the defense. That is true.
That's very true.
I don't know. Dan says he thinks the secondary is the problem. They're not playing very well, but if they could just hold on, because Tyrod Taylor was getting the ball out almost a full half a second faster than his career average this week.
Wow.
Which kind of makes you wonder, what's going on there. And if you can hold on coverage just a little bit longer, those guys can get home. Delpit had a nice debut. He really did.
Yeah.
How much, if any, influence does Stefanski have on Woods' defensive strategy? A lot of what I've seen Stefanski say in the offseason was that, it's on Joe Woods. It's his offense. He has control. Stefanski hired people that he has complete trust in. He's kind of reiterated that over and over again. I'm sure he has a hand on it. It's his team in the end. But he seems like a guy that's kind of more of a facilitator, an organizer, if you will.
He was asked one time about what he does with the defense, and I remember it specifically because he referenced it, and he said that they do collaborate, and he said Joe Woods' office is right next to his, and so they do talk about it. I don't know how much that means Stefanski is involved with that, but
So,
it just needs more time.
Odenabo, that's his name. So they signed Odenabo to the active roster today. Andrew asked, did that strengthen it? He led the Vikings in pressures last year.
Is it Ifedi?
Ifedi, yeah.
Ifedi. Oh God, I know how to spell it. I didn't know how to say his name, but I know how to spell his name because I've been talking about him a lot. I'm really excited about him, and I think there's potential. I think that's another guy that had a lot of production that you're like, well, what are the Giants doing? Because they are a dumpster fire, as you see, and so it's like we are going to take advantage of them and take our Ifedi, and off we go.
You lead any team in pressures and then join Myles Garrett, Jadeveon Clowney, Malik McDowell, Malik Jackson, those guys. You make that group better. Yeah. Okay, I'm giving to the defense until week 5. Weeks 5 or 6 I think 6 is my target. I'd love it to be this week, but week 6 I think is my target. I'm going to do the last of my defensive notes, and we're going to move on to the offense. Let's see here. Clowney's impact in the run game is apparent from the very beginning. He seems to flash at least a couple of times in the run game. We talked about that. He's one of the best edge rushers at setting the edge against the run, pushing things back in. Great run defender. The run D is great. I think I read somewhere it's like top 9, top 10, somewhere in the top 10. I'll have to bring that up. The power run doesn't work against them. They don't get moved very well. Some of the outside wide zone and things like that, you can get them a little bit. The best special teamer for the Browns in week 2, Mack Wilson. Good for Mack Wilson. Malcolm Smith excelled. And you know what? I came away with this game wanting to see more talkie-talkie. Give me some more talkie-talkie snaps. Sure. I think he played better than he normally. He is still your Sam backer in the base. They only ran like 15 snaps in base, but I think he can be pretty good. I think some Browns fans are hitting the panic button because all the division is 1-1, plus we're still new to having high expectations. I agree with that, but at the same time, I'm like, man, we're winning now. Like I remember begging to just win one, baby. What do you think about Baker after these 2 games?
It's a nice segue.
If you lead the league, I don't care. It's really funny because if you say anything like, hey man, like right now you're winning, you're leading the league in completion percentage. Yeah. Baker Mayfield's leading the league in completion percentage. It's only 2 games. Okay. But that's the games he's played.
Yeah.
And you're trying to ask me what I think about him now. Well, what I think is he's been elite. You don't go 19 for 21.
Yeah.
Everybody says, well, they're all short passes. Okay, yeah, he's averaging 10 yards a completion. But then I'll go, well, it's short passes. It's this, it's that. Well, let me respond to that. Then why isn't everybody doing it?
Yeah.
If it's a process to put up 30 points a game, they got 29 and 31, 30 points a game on, easy dink and dunk passes, as I quote here, then
so
why isn't everybody doing
it? I haven't seen. I've been wanting to look at his average depth of target. That's like one of my favorite stats because yards per attempt can be, and I think yards per attempt tells you a nice story. But if you look at the average depth of target, you can tell how far is Baker really trying to throw? Like, because a lot of people try to discredit that completion percentage by saying he's just throwing dinks and dunks. So I think if we did know what his ADOT was through the first 2 weeks, we could either put that to bed or discuss it. And I just haven't been able to look up that stat yet. And I think I can find it.
I'm trying to bring it up right now. I know it was a little bit lower this week.
Yeah, because once he hurt his shoulder, they did not have him throw deep anymore.
Well, Stefanski talked about not wanting to press the ball down the field because he was he was hurt. I can't find it. See if you can find it. But I mean, in the end, Baker was great. I mean, he's great. You said continue the elite pace that he was on last year. That's what I was told, and that's what I also said. Complete it, and here we are. He's just not. He took another step. He's completing 80% of his passes. If everybody can do it, then everybody should do it. Baker is in no way, and there's no way you come away from these two games with anything but more faith in Baker Mayfield. Period.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think he's a great place to start because both you and I tweeted about Baker on Monday, and Baker is setting career highs in so many different categories, right? And so I think it's more important to look at a lot of people try to say, oh, Baker's not throwing touchdowns. I think it's so much more important to look at how do the Browns do when they're in the red zone? Are they scoring? The answer is yes. They have not failed. They've kicked, I think, one field goal, and the rest have been touchdowns, right? So they're being highly successful in the red zone, and that's the most important part. And I think the other part, I'm not sure where I was going with the other part, but the most important thing to me is when the Browns are getting there in the field, are they scoring? Because if they are, it does not matter if it's a rushing touchdown or a passing touchdown. As long as the Browns are scoring, I think you're fine.
Well, and it's always find a way to discredit Baker. I could do that too if I was dumping it off. Then why isn't your quarterback dumping it off if it's the recipe to an easy 30 points in a W? Then why aren't you doing it? That's the thing that I can't wrap the Baker slander. The dude had a partially dislocated shoulder, came back, went 10 for 10, 103 yards, a touchdown, and a rushing touchdown.
Yeah.
You fucking kidding me?
That's amazing.
Like come on. I almost don't even want to talk about this right now because it's so much slander that I can't. Go ahead.
I'm excited. I don't know. I think Baker bounced back from that interception really well, and we know. So I want to credit the person who put the picture out. I think it was Brent Sobolewski. I think it was him who put out there's a picture of Anthony Schwartz, the pass that was intercepted, where Anthony Schwartz is looking at the defender before the ball crosses. Right
before it passes him,
Anthony Schwartz is looking at the defender before the ball passes Anthony Schwartz. So there's no other way to slice it than the fact that you got to go get that ball, and Anthony Schwartz is like, I don't want any part of that, right? So it's not really, to me, that's not. I know, obviously,
I'm not saying Schwartz should caught it, but you should have tried to at least break it up.
Yeah, like Aaron Rodgers threw a really terrible pass into like 3 defenders last night. And Devontae Adams had the wherewithal to stick his arm in there and bat it down and prevent an interception. What would have been an interception, right? But I think so the Chiefs show kind of went this way, and this show has kind of gone this way, where like we've talked about the defense, and it's kind of been like a little bit of a black cloud that hangs over. And I would like to change up the overall energy because the Browns won this game, right?
Yeah, dude.
Every team
is a win.
Every team is 1-1 in our division. There's no hole to dig out of. There's no bad situation that has to happen. That the destiny of the AFC North is right in front of us. And so I think moving from here, if you're looking at the way the Browns have started, I'm totally fine. 1-1, totally fine.
You know what? You want me to remind you of something? You said it, but everybody told me it was how they won. Hey, last year you beat a 1-15 Jacksonville Jaguars by 2 points.
Yeah.
And then crushed Pittsburgh in the playoffs.
I know. Oh, man.
So tell me more about these non-existent style points. I get it. Be critical of the things that you need to fix. But at the end of the day, it is so much better to learn from a win than a loss. And that's where we're at, guys. Let's cheer up. Let's have some fun. Let's talk about some offensive grades.
I got one more for you, just real quick.
Oh God. Those of you that are joining, I have to read random messages that I've never seen before throughout the entirety of this show because I lost a bet. I'm sorry. Okay, this is bullshit. Cereal is not breakfast soup. I have no idea what I was thinking. No, I have no idea what whoever you are was thinking. That was bullshit. You know the truth. Don't listen to my words. Listen to your heart. Ridiculous. Ridiculous, whoever it is that thought this was funny. Oh my gosh. Anyway, you guys are just mean. Just mean-hearted people. Anyway, let's go over PFF's grades for the offense. Let's talk about some of those things. Let's talk about Demetric fucking Felton, man. Demetric Felton, he has 3 offensive snaps, so I don't take his grade with a grain of salt, but it was a 98.7.
It's awesome.
Which is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen, but it just points out that he was basically perfect on his 3 snaps. He was great. Jarvis had an 86. He played 2 snaps. This is my favorite grade of the week. In 31 snaps, Harrison Bryant had an 85, including a 70 in the run game blocking and a 70.7 in the pass grade blocking. I think PFF has all 3 Cleveland tight ends in the top 10 on their grading scales.
Crazy. Hey, this is a Harrison Bryant stand account.
Hey, I love Harrison Bryant. There was a couple where he just got tripped up, or he could be still running right now. It was pretty good. Nick Chubb and Derrick Henry continue to be the top 2 graded running backs in football. 76.6 for Nick Chubb. Austin Hooper, a 74. Wyatt Teller, a 72. Baker, a 73 pass grade. David Njoku, a 65. 64 for Conklin. 64 for Richard. 63 for Jedrick Wills. A 63 for Blake Hance. Literally no drop-off when Blake Hance came in. J.C. Treader, a 60. Dearness Johnson, a 60 on 3 snaps. Joel Bitonio, 58. Joel Bitonio is, I believe, the highest graded Brown currently overall. Kareem Hunt, a 58.5. Andy Janovich, a 53, including an 11 as a pass blocker. So I'm not sure how long he is on this roster. That's weird. 47 for Peoples-Jones and a 44 for Anthony Schwartz. Right now, I'm not sure why DPJ is not getting more targets, but poor DPJ, he gets a target, and that was just a perfect play by Reed there. You just that's what they teach you, man. You put helmet on the ball and you knock it out, and it's man, I'm a DPJ stan, but it's been a brutal couple of weeks for my.
It has been a rough start, but that doesn't mean he can't get going.
No, 2 games. So hearing all those grades, what was your favorite part about Sunday's offense, and why was it Demetric Felton's touchdown?
You know what? I gotta go. I love Demetric Felton. I gotta go with Nick Chubb. I mean, that guy, what was he averaging? 8.6 yards a carry?
It's something stupid. He had 95 yards on 11 carries.
That's so stupid, man. It's unbelievable what he's able to do. You know what? Selfishly, I want to see more of him, but logically, it's the Browns are elongating his career by so much by using him sparingly. Although I will say, I saw Kareem Hunt got a lot of carries and really
13.
didn't have a good yards, was not finding the same success Nick was. And so I hope moving forward, if Nick's finding the success that Kareem isn't, I hope that they use more Nick. But, obviously Kareem's good too. And he just didn't have as good of a game. But I think Nick Chubb is definitely my favorite part of that. He sealed the game with that touchdown. He just didn't – every touch he had, very similar to Demetric Felton.
I tweeted it out. Nick Chubb's the best closer in the league.
He is.
That's – whenever you are in any kind of situation, I mean, they made it interesting. They made it 24-21.
Yeah.
And what does Nick Chubb say? I don't care. It's over. Death taxes Nick Chubb.
The fourth quarter is Chubb time.
It's Chubb time.
It's Chubb time.
And then I made the joke that everybody's happier with a raging Chubb. Anyway, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. Oh, wait, it's our show. I don't give a fuck. Yeah. Anyway, dude, I can't. This offense, just like the defense, it looked very bland, looked very vanilla, and they dropped 31 points. This team did not look to be clicking the way they clicked the week before, and they dropped 31 points.
Yeah, you know what? They tried the I do like the little wrinkles. They tried the Anthony Schwartz in place of Odell end around, and
Baker with one arm put Money Mitch on his ass. Money Mitch ain't living that down, man.
No, No,
Baker was mic'd up. If you haven't had an opportunity to watch that play and some others with the audio clip from Baker, find that somewhere. Excuse me, on the internet, on Twitter, because it was great. Ed said that Felton hit the circle button on the sticks on that spin. Wow. He literally, go watch it again. As soon as he spins, 3 Texans just go to the ground.
Yeah.
And it was like, dude, and the Texas defense was having a pretty good game. And he just,
mm-hmm.
I don't know. It was so crazy. I'm trying to get my thing back over here. Winslow Jr. Yeah. Okay. Ed talking about Kellen Winslow in prison.
Ed.
It got dark there. I wasn't ready for that. But guys, all of these things, Kevin Stefanski, and I tweeted this out as well. And I said, we finally have the guy. Like, we finally got this right. Kevin Stefanski after the game. Did we play our best game? No, sir. Did I coach my best game? Absolutely not. I did not coach my best game. I don't think I've ever heard Kevin Stefanski admit that he's a good coach. I'm not sure. And I get it. It's coach speak, whatever. But you can hear the genuine, the genuineness in his voice. He truly takes no credit and takes all the blame. Hugh Jackson would have had to watch the tape, but you know, Kevin Stefanski, I said it last week, I'll continue to say, he is the right man for this job for the next 15 years, and I couldn't be happier.
So you asked me what my favorite thing was. Is Demetric Felton your favorite, or do you have any? Okay.
Yeah.
He's earning a lot more. You know what? It's amazing. Is it another 6-round
with Jarvis
player?
to IR?
Yeah.
I think he's your slot player.
I mean, he's earning playing time. I mean, he's been good, and I'm super excited about him. You know what? You're starting to see already, just the couple of years that Andrew Berry's drafted. You're starting to see the talent that he's infused into the team. You know,
top to bottom, man.
Yeah.
You're 4 or 5 deep at skill positions.
I know.
You got 3 great tight ends right now. They're all 3 playing very well.
Pete Smith tweeted out, I think it was 2 weeks ago, but I don't remember. He tweeted out that the Browns have all the offensive linemen and you can't have any.
Yeah, it feels like it. Blake Hance comes in and literally his grade was 0.1 below Jedrick Wills. 0.1.
That's the thing. It's like the Browns have already had, Conklin's banged up, Wills is banged up, Shredder's banged up, and they've been able to still, Hubbard comes in, they don't miss a beat really. Blake Hance comes in, they don't miss a beat, and I'm confident that if any one of these other guys have to sit down, that the Browns can continue to be good up front, and that's probably the most important piece to the offense, in my opinion.
It was the keyest domino in 2019 falling apart was the poor defensive line or offensive line. True Dog weighs in, says we're going to see a lot more Felton. I think so. I want to be clear because I made some comments on the internet today. I do not think that a rookie replaces what Jarvis Landry gives you. I'm not in any way saying he's on that level, but he can be incredibly effective in the slot. And because of that, it's going to lessen the blow. You're not going to find you're not going to find another Jarvis Landry. You're just not going to. But I'm not totally sold on not getting production, the same type of production, maybe not as much, but if Jarvis is going to give you 100 and Demetric Felton can give you 70% of what he has, and OBJ's back, it looks like OBJ's back. Yeah. I'll be wearing my 13 when I'm in Cleveland with our friend Andy Manchin on Sunday. Yeah. So it's funny, man, because if we had lost a guy like Jarvis Landry 3 years ago, what the hell are you going to do? I have no idea. We're not there anymore, guys. This is a legitimately good, deep football team. We haven't seen nearly their best game. And they're 1-1 in first place.
I have a couple thoughts. Number one, I think that this win isn't like, we're not like sitting here celebrating, yelling, having a good time because the Browns were expected to win. And they're just 1-1 now. I think if the Browns beat Chicago, I think all of a sudden you're 2-1, and then things start to become fun, right? I think you and I come on the show and we're like, Super Bowl, Super Browns, everything is great. I feel like you get that juice going then, but it's just not.
You start to turn that corner, man.
Yeah.
If you can rip off 3-1, 4-1, 5-1.
Yeah.
Well, these conversations that we had in the offseason that kind of seemed almost like fallacies are legitimate at this point. Yeah. And, it's 1-1. You are where you are. Ed says, how great is it that fans are jumping into the lake because of wins instead of coaches? Joey. I loved Joey. He comes on here and he makes that announcement. He's going to swim a mile in Lake Erie if they beat the Texans. And I'm like, dude. And he was like, yeah, I know. He gets out of there and he's like, I'm Sir Yacht and I'm a professional dumbass. And that was the greatest line I've ever heard anybody drop on the internet.
Yo, he found me in the Muni lot.
Did he?
Yeah, he did. And that was the first time I've ever met him. He is tall. Holy moly, that dude.
Oh, yeah, he looks like he is. Yeah.
I did not. I'm like 5'9", 5'10", somewhere in there. And I'm like, dude. You know what? And I'm so excited because I alluded to it, but there were so many people there that I didn't even get to run into. Dude, Jacob, we are in for a treat because I'm telling you, man, it is great.
Please come find me, DM me. If you got my phone number, text me, at me, all those kind of things. I'll be checking. Yeah. I'll be kind of like live tweeting leading up to the game and stuff. So I'm probably coming up Saturday night. I might sleep on Nick's couch. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
He doesn't know about it, but he just found out about it.
Yeah, no.
No, I'm just. But I will probably be there. I don't know how early we'll be out Sunday morning, but we'll be out there. Yeah. I would say at least a couple of hours before kickoff.
I got up at 6 and I was in the Muni lot by like 7:45 yesterday. And Andy's crazy. Andy was there at I think he was there at 5:30, 5. I don't know, something like that.
I'm too old for that shit. I'll tell you that right now.
You know what? It's so much. The pomp and circumstance. I've been to Buffalo, right, and I've tailgated there too. And I don't think they have anything on Cleveland. I don't. I love them. They're passionate too. They were really cool to us back then. That was when LaShawn McCoy torched the Browns for 1 billion yards and 2 touchdowns. That was awful. But the Buffalo people are really cool. And
they always have been, yeah.
I still don't think that they have anything on Cleveland.
Yeah.
But I got another one for you. Sorry.
Apparently, I plagiarized all of my hot takes from Tony Grossi and Mary Kay. I don't even follow Tony Grossi because I think some of his stuff is ludicrous. He's a real reporter, but it's I don't know the last time I read a Tony Grossi report. These are ridiculous. Absolutely.
A couple more for you.
Absolutely.
Even a couple good ones.
Absolutely ridiculous, guys. Guys, I don't know, man. I hope to see some of you guys on Sunday. We're going to jump into some listener questions here from people. I'm going to write down what time at about 54 minutes so that I can tell everybody. That is the Q&A section. So if you guys got any questions, top to bottom, throw them in there right now. We are going to discuss these. We're going to get to them. I tweeted a tweet out, and we have some people that weighed in there. Our friend Andrew, who is present right now, asks, with Odenigbo elevated to the 53-man roster over a receiver, I see Felton at receiver. I agree. Mm-hmm. And Odenigbo had 7.5 sacks. It's very interesting. It is. We kind of already talked about that right now, man. If you are a guy that can lead a team in pressures and you join Myles Garrett, I don't see how that team gets worse.
Nope.
That's it. That's the question. I'm trying to check. Our friend Ryan trolled me a little bit on here and told me to talk about Josh Gordon, and I had to go through there and see if he'd asked me a legitimate question.
I stirred the pot a little bit on that.
I know you did. Florida Buckeye says the Browns defense are 9th against the rush, 77.5 yards per game. See, 3 yards per carry. See, I told you I thought I read that somewhere. 23rd against the pass, 272 yards a game, 8.7 yards an attempt. I like the rush stat, but pass defense needs a lot of work. What do you believe needs to change? We'll miss the show, but would like to see the response. Yeah, absolutely, man. So I will send you a message right there that we answered your question starting at 55 minutes and 20 seconds. So here's my thing, and I'll ask you, Nick, as well. The thing that needs to change is I think you need to disguise more coverage. Right now, if you watch Tyrod Taylor, even watch Patrick Mahomes, they almost never forced either of those guys off their first read. If you do not force anybody off their first read, they're just going to bang, 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 fire it. And Tyrod was quite often firing his passes in less than 2 seconds. Your rush is not going to get home. You're probably, if you're playing off-man coverage and letting him throw quick, I don't care how good your DBs are, the reaction times are not going to be that great if they're off coverage and you're not forcing a guy off his second reads. What needs to change now is disguised coverage and find a way to hold coverage for at least 2 seconds so that the pass rush can start to get home. And that's where I think it needs to change the most.
You know what? One of the biggest keys, one of the biggest reasons the Browns won so many games early in the year last year is that Myles Garrett went on that rampage. I think he had 3 straight games of strip sacks.
Yes.
And so it's like you got to – and a lot of people are putting it on Myles Garrett. But when you look at how fast Tyrod was throwing the ball, and I'm not positive about Davis Mills. I need to go back and watch the game again. But when you look at that, it's like he doesn't even have any opportunity to rush the passer in those scenarios.
And he was doing first reads too. First read. He's a rookie, and you let him do his first read.
And you better not do that to Justin Fields because Allen Robinson will cook you. You know, I mean, you thought Brandon
Darryl Mooney and David Montgomery too.
Oh my God, yeah. So, and we know we already said Denzel Ward can play way better, right? And so we know Denzel Ward's going to be on Allen Robinson. Ooh, shout out to the preview episode for coming out early for Patreon members and all that fun stuff. But we know Denzel Ward can play better, and we know he'll be on Allen Robinson. So looking for that, definitely looking for that.
Second question from our good friend Jess, the Patreon winner of our shirt from Zabo Apparel this week.
Jess.
If you could pick any current or former Brown quarterback wide receiver combo to play, regardless of if they have ever actually played together, who would it be? I'm going with prime Josh Gordon and Baker Mayfield. I know we've made this joke, but if you could give Baker Mayfield that Josh Gordon of that year when he had Brandon Whedon, when the dude was just drunk and high and just tearing everyone up. Come on.
He led the league in receiving with a career mediocre at best quarterback. And I don't think I can answer. I said this today. Josh Gordon is most likely the most talented receiver that has ever and will ever come through Cleveland. And I will die on that hill because think about the things that you just said. It took him 14 games. I can't stop the Josh Gordon noise. I can't because when you look at what he did, and I'm not saying that he should be brought back now, but from a talent perspective, there's nothing Cleveland has seen that's better. I don't know how you possibly could. If you go back and look at that, I mean, he beat out Calvin Johnson for leading the league in receiver. With Brandon Whedon. I mean,
in 12 games.
At least Calvin Johnson had Matt Stafford throwing to him. Matt Stafford's a good quarterback.
He was suspended to start that year too.
And so it's like, and you're impairing yourself to play these games, right? Like you're literally slowing yourself. No.
I wish he could have found a way to get his mind right and not even if it wasn't in Cleveland. I really do.
Never forget he caught Tom Brady's 500th touchdown pass, and I watched that, and they acted like that was about to be the second coming of Brady and Moss, right?
It probably would have been.
It could have. I mean, and now here Brady's still playing, and he's got
5 more touchdowns.
Robot.
He's the greatest of all time, man. He just is. Our good friend Ryan says, I've got one for you. Do you think we played within ourselves Sunday? I can't remember taking one shot downfield. Felt like we didn't want to show anyone anything. I've said that already. Felt like they weren't showing anybody anything. It flat out did. That being said, Baker gets sacked on third down. Jake Burns tweeted this out. As he is getting sacked on third down on the opening drive, he's loading up.
Oh, I know.
If you look and zoom out at the all 22,
Schwartz, man.
about 35 yards downfield, wide open is Anthony Schwartz.
Yeah.
He was loading up on that first drive, and I'm going to tell you, nobody was catching him.
That was a tutty.
And if Conklin just gives him about probably half a second more, man, he got sacked on that play. But after that, Stefanski admitted to not taking any shots because he didn't want to call any plays that could get Baker hit.
Yeah.
So, yes, I think especially
smart.
after that, they changed their play calling.
Yeah.
Our good friend, Mr. Jingles, he said, who will be our leading receiver Sunday and why? If you could pick, and then we got a second question. If you could pick any Browns player from the last 60 years to be on your team, who would you pick and why? He says the easy answer is Joe Thomas, so reach higher. That's fine. Okay, we can do that. No Joe Thomas. Great. First question, leading receiver Sunday. Oh, I've been waiting for this question, haven't I? I've been waiting. The leading receiver on Sunday is going to be that dude. It's going to be that dude. It's going to be part one of the OBJ revenge tour. My dude is going to catch a $125 and 2 tutters.
I love that. I love it. I can see how excited you are. I love it.
I am ready, and I'm going to see it in person, baby. Let's go. That dude.
I wanted to say this. This dude is always buried on the depth chart to start the year, and he always finds his way to the top of it. My leading receiver on Sunday is none other than Rashard Higgins. Because and no disrespect to Odell. I just man, that connection.
He may be limited.
Yeah. Well, that's true. Yeah. So maybe that turns out to be incorrect. I really like Anthony Schwartz. I want to.
No. I mean, OBJ might be limited.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I was like, wait, what? So I still go with Hollywood just because that. Well, did he say leading? Does it have to be a receiver? Because I could totally see it being a tight end.
And he just said who will be our leading receiver Sunday and why.
I could. I'm still going to stick with Hollywood, but I'm tempted to say Njoku.
Okay. Njoku's going to have one of those games soon, man. You can see it. You can see it. If you could pick any Browns player from the last, I'm going Josh Cribbs because if you added an incredibly explosive return game to what we've already got on offense, and then this defense somehow figures things out and puts it together, whoo, fiery, spicy team that would be.
So this is going to surprise you, but for anyone who knows me a little bit, knows that I'm still salty about this. And I want none other than Emmanuel Agba, who casually is just awesome.
Who got traded for Chad Thomas.
And was traded away for nothing.
So that they could keep Chad Thomas.
And he was, I believe he was Miami's leading sacker last year.
Yeah.
Emmanuel Agba was talented and in typical Cleveland new GM fashion, they kicked out all the talented players the old regime brought in for no reason, for nothing, and brought in all their players. And John Dorsey should have kept Emmanuel Agba, and our pass rush would be significantly better if they also had. Imagine, and because I'm not, if I'm not mistaken, is he on the final year of his rookie contract? I'm not positive. Yeah. Did he sign a new contract?
He should be past it by now, I think.
You're probably right. Yeah, because
he was the draft before Miles, and he was a third-round pick.
Okay, yeah. So he probably just did then. But Agba's great, and I wish he was still a Brown.
I'll weigh in. I'll get some. We got a question. We got one more question on Twitter, but we got our question over here. Which fan bases do you think are the worst? I think all fan bases are incredibly insane and have toxic factions. So I'm not even going to say that I think any fan bases are better than any other fan bases because we all got people that we are incredibly embarrassed by. But Steelers fans are incredibly entitled.
They definitely
even though they haven't won anything in years. Like, listen, if I had 6 Super Bowls, that's probably all I'd fucking talk about too. So, like, I'm not.
Yeah, I just want to say shout out to, I believe True Dog. I believe we talk a lot on Twitter. If you are True Dog from Twitter. Yeah, I love talking to you there. I'm glad you're here. You're awesome. That's what I need you to know.
Absolutely. Ed in Columbus says he wants Clay Matthews or Michael Dean Perry. Be pretty great.
Speaking of Ed in Columbus.
Yeah.
I have something for you from our none other.
Of course. True Dog says Webster Slaughter. That would be a lot of fun. That would be a lot of fun to have Webster Slaughter on this roster. All right, I'm gonna get this last question in before apparently we have some fun. How about this one? Andrew Billings has shown zero. Why not cut bait and bring back Marvin Wilson off the Eagles practice squad? Could not be possibly any worse. Yes, he can. Marvin Wilson in the preseason did not register a stat. Not a pressure, not a tackle, not an assist, not a hit, not a hurry, just a penalty. That is way worse. Andrew, I mean, at least Billings tackled some people. I was thumping my chest for Marvin Wilson, man, but he was awful. And he also did not have any interest from what I've been told and what I've heard of being in Cleveland's practice squad. That's why he didn't come back. I think he kind of took it personal, and that's why he left. And I'm not knocking the guy for that because I get it. I really do.
Shout out to Davion Davis. Welcome back to the squad. Can't wait. Love him.
If I was a center, I would want Ed in Columbus to be my quarterback. I would want him under center, not in the shotgun, so he could be handsy, if you know what I mean. I decided after reading that I was going to put a nice little twist on it. Ed, I'm not even going to deny it. You can get handsy on me any day of the week, Ed. Day of the week.
Ed, what are the odds you make your way up to the Muni lot?
Yeah, you gonna make your way up to the Muni lot this weekend, Ed?
Ed, we got me, Jacob, and Andy, and I'm gonna try and recruit as many other people as we can. But I feel like if there was a week to be in the Muni lot, Ed, this is the week, friend.
It's the week. We will also be there in a couple of weeks against the Falcons. Falcons. Cardinals.
Other birds.
Those are our questions now. Hey now, that's what Ed said. So those are the questions we had from Twitter. Those are the questions we have from you guys. It was a wonderful episode with you guys tonight. If you want to join Ed says keep talking. I will, big boy. Anyway, if you want to join the Patreon, the preview episode will drop again on Thursday morning. Sometimes I actually upload it about Wednesday night. It just depends on when I get around to it, like really late on Wednesday night. And then usually the next Thursday night, Friday morning, the preview episode will go out, and that will be our PFF breakdown as well as our film review of the upcoming opponent, the Chicago Bears. I've watched the Chicago Bears 2 games. I have studied their statistics. It's going to be harder to break down because we got about a half of Justin Fields, and I don't know that you can really judge much from him because he didn't get starter reps that week in practice, all of those stuff. I don't know. But that will be coming out later in the week. But before I got into podcasting, I spent my days trying to become the new Kermit the Frog voice actor. But after a dozen failed auditions, the best note the producers gave me was to come back after I got through puberty.
Who is that from? I want you to take a guess who that's from.
It's so sophisticated. It's got to be Andy.
It is.
There's way too much thought sophistication in there. That is clearly Andy. I'm Kermit the Frog. But anyway, I also I do some voices, some voice acting on the side.
You know what? You did really well with this bet. I'm proud of you, start to finish, man.
It's been terrible.
I can't wait to, and I love looking forward, right? Because now we're doing the show and here we are. You're going to have a chance for vengeance next 53-man roster. Not getting ahead of myself, but
a year from now, yeah. I don't know. I will. We'll talk about it after our Super Bowl victory. How about that?
There it is.
But yeah, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, reach out to us, please. Hit us up on all the social medias. If you guys want to help us out, tell your friends, get the word out there, get more eyes on the podcast. Interact with us. The Patreon, I write articles each week. We do some quotes and some newsletters and stuff like that. I forgot to do one last week. You get early access to the preview episode by a whole day. You get exclusive preview. You get exclusive giveaways. Like Jess just got a shirt from Zabo Apparel that is on its way. Zabo told me it was going to go out today.
Cool.
Seriously, guys, if you haven't checked out Zabo Apparel, SZABOAPPAREL, Zabo Apparel, it's merchandise for diehard fans by diehard fans. I'm wearing the shirt right now, so if you want to watch the video version, the really awesome orange dog with the X crossbones. Ed's given us, and Ed has put us in the program at Tays Valley High School where my cousins used to go.
Thank you.
The Patreon is a Little Caesars pizza. Brown stuff tastes better. I love it, Ed. It is $5 a month is the Patreon. And we'll continue to give exclusive content. It's helped us pay for Game Pass, for PFF, and things like that, so that we can bring you even better content.
I would like to say, as of now, 9/16 on Tuesday, we have 181 subscribers on YouTube. Which thank you to all of you that have been here. At 225, we're giving away another shirt, so we're closing in on that number. Slowly but surely. It's been a grind, no doubt about it. It's been a grind, but we're getting there. And so, thank you, everyone, for all of that. We're going to continue to find ways to bring you more. Jacob and I have all kinds of stuff brainstormed for you. But it means a lot to be able to be here. So to all of our Patreons.
And maybe you watch our Twitter around 11 a.m. on Sunday.
Oh yeah. Hey, we might have some fun stuff for you there.
Maybe we'll be live in the Muni lot.
That would be fun. I would love that.
I don't know if we'll have enough cell service, so maybe we'll be live after we leave the Muni lot.
I tried to tweet out a video of me walking through the Muni lot, and I tried it like 8, and it didn't send until like 11 something. So,
I was going to say, I don't even remember that. Yeah, I don't remember seeing that.
Yeah, I tried. I did my best.
Guys, my dream is to talk football with you guys. You made it reality. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for everybody. I say it all the time. The most valuable thing you can give to me is your time. You give us your time week in and week out. We've had quite a few people watching this an entire 1 hour and 12-minute episode live. If you want shorter hits about the opponent, the preview episodes go about 20 to 25 minutes. It'll come out later in the week. Watch Twitter, watch YouTube, watch the podcast format.
We've got another bet brewing. I don't know how I stacked up to Jacob this week, but we pick all the NFL
games. I haven't tallied it.
Okay, yeah, so soon. So you're going to find out.
We pick every NFL game except for the primetime game, because even though we record the episode early in the week, sometimes it doesn't release on Friday. I don't want to be accused of cheating.
Yeah.
I went 5-10 week 1. And Nick went 8-7. I have not tallied up week 2. I know I did pick the Raiders over the Steelers, so there was one I got, baby, on the Raiders. Anyway, we love you guys from the absolute bottom of our heart. Thank you so much.
I want to leave you with one positive thing. The Browns have the most efficient rush offense in the NFL currently.
Nick Chubb leads the league in broken tackles per carry at 0.55, which means he averages a broken tackle every other run.
It's insane. And he leads the league in yards per carry, which I may be tweeting about tomorrow, because Nick Chubb is insane and does not, just because he doesn't get the Derrick Henry carries does not mean he's not as good as Derrick Henry.
Who doesn't love a good Chubb on hump day?
Oh God, it's going to be great. So this has been the Grant Delpit episode of the Barking Brown Show. Thank you.
Phenomenal debut. We didn't talk about it enough. Grant Delpit, phenomenal.
Grant Delpit, wow. Thank you to Zabo Apparel for being awesome. Thank you to everyone for being here and all our new questions. Where I would love to continue that segment. Thank you to Jacob for putting together for paying up on your bet. This has been great. The Browns are 1-1, and next time we show, they're going to be 2-1. See you all in the Muni lot. I'm Nick. He's Jacob. And as always, go Browns.